I'll keep it back. I can't hear you.
How come they don't need a liquor license to serve wine in church?
My testimony.
Catholic churches, they do, it's part of the sacrament. Body and blood of Christ, yeah, absolutely. Some do. Parents have to go to this, so they did just, I think they actually had both. Another thing special.
Asking for a liquor license?
It looks like a for an event.
What number?
8.
So does. Is Kim out there? Because we need to hold out one copy.
What is that thing?
Oh, okay. You're right.
So they have three up there, I'll just keep one for me and then one.
Did you see this graduation?
Which one is that? I mean, I see a lot of parties on here. I'm assuming we're gonna see a lot of those. Wedding parties.
The first one, it's going to 50 people. And then the third one, like
Oh, yeah. That's good. They're good on it.
it's a giant, yeah,
Well, all of these.
giant graduation.
Party. 5 is all the senior one. They're not a graduation. Party. They didn't do a graduation. For all 3 of them.
Remember Torrance in school?
All the way.
Yes,
Right, when you're out there.
vaguely.
Like so messy.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at a memo that he submitted for it. Yeah.
Handwritten?
Oh.
Oh.
I'm writing like something.
Oh,
I
you-
understand what he's trying to say in a sentence, like rereading his conclusion.
Wow. Nobody proofread his stuff.
Easy me
Oh,
more.
thank you so
Mhm.
much.
You want this?
No, I'm okay. I got one.
Yeah.
Since he started.
Where's he working?
Yes. Sentence wording, I'm like having to reread like 3 times to try to figure out what I think really means.
I don't think you just rushed a first draft together. You know, you can get through it. Stick with it. Try to get more out of it.
Sorry.
What do I do with it? Submitted a report from letter, if the board is a picture of the chair, right? And that kind of shield and works, red short. For the first citation that they got or something.
That doesn't make sense.
That was just stupid. So I have to read the whole thing. They said that in an executive session. But for the last thing, the doors.
No.
Is it contested? It's still contested.
No.
Is it contested though?
At least that's what they told me. Yeah, mine should go
I know.
tonight. There's two.
Which one? David Buskers.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, that's right.
Bye.
And then, no, Angry Mom, they submitted a step waiver, so here.
Well, that wasn't even on there. Skyway TV.
It wasn't on it.
Angry.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the wrong. They're not the ones that specific. It was memoirs,
Skyway TV.
29 memoirs. They're the ones that didn't stick. Angry Mom and Dave, they didn't get it served in time. That's why I wasn't on for it.
What was Skyway TV number one?
It wasn't a one. I think I put his party. He was like, well, I'm gonna go from the back, and then he just laughed. Yeah. I think good for it, but that's the one thing I remember is the call. I don't know.
You got some, you know, when you file a public hearing and you're not here,
Pleading saying.
pick it up later on the agenda, or sometimes something happens and they need to go take care of something and then you call it, so I get that. All that out of order.
Yeah. And while the public hearing is done, then we can go into executive session. Oh, I see.
They open doors, not way yet.
It's also really weird, you said the investigator, for the contested these hearings, and they're sitting right next to the same table. Probably be up in the jury box somewhere, but it's weird. So it's like he's my witnesses.
Oh.
No, I don't
Kelowna? Daniel, Kelowna came to see you.
The same case.
Yeah.
Same jacket.
My beach runs on it. Yeah.
That's just gonna go.
We can show nothing.
Everyone, welcome to the Ignite meeting of the Honolulu School Commission. We have no meeting minutes to approve, so we are going to. We are going to call one item out of order. And the item number 37, liquor commission act regarding employment of interim.
And the future about the commissioners. I can talk about it
Before the hearing started, the commissioners did receive written supplemental documents. We have not been able to read through those in their entirety. Only we just received them. However, before I get into that, is there anyone who would like to provide testimony as to this agenda item? Hearing and seeing none, it sounds as though there's no additional testimony today. Mr. Pikewood, I know we just received it. Have you additional?
Yes, I received them as I walked in.
So you have not had a chance to review them. Would you like to make any general? I mean, I know you're not going to respond to any of the written testimony. Would you like comments at this time?
Just that there was another item that was posted on the first packet. Okay, most of these same items that were brought forward. People to. The one that was posted recently. We go over the same issue, something which I was fronted to. On April 13th. So, that's all I have to say this time. I haven't read whether this happened to you.
Yeah, understood. And we haven't really to read through that. Understood. At this time, we're not going to take any action on this agenda item. We will read. If anyone want to provide public testimony, they can do so without waiting the entire hearing. So we will recall this at its formal agenda. We will go into our normal calendar, starting with agenda item number 1, application number 23-0142, proposal catering rights to the final.
Thank you, commissioners. My name is Sam Alero, General Manager for Foods and Catering by Sumugan.
And with me is my event coordinator, Sheila O'Connor.
Walk us through that.
Okay, so for this first one, for typical graduation event, we are utilizing the whole facility, including the courtyard, and we have the bar outside. What are you guys doing? So we do have HPD on site to assist. We're for security as far as with the liquor. Our bartenders are IDing and our caterers are helping the bartenders keep an eye on this.
So you're gonna ban at the bar or at entrance?
So at the bar.
At the bar, okay.
And is this a high school or a college grad? One probably needs to be extra careful.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
We got our eagle eyes out there for this.
I move we approve application number 23-01842.
Second.
Motion in the second, any objections to the and I also put item with carried application redaction 018. On agenda item number 2, application number 23-01855, inclusive catering by fund.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Sam Alero, General Manager for Food and Catering by Sunubran. And with me is my event coordinator, Sheila O'Connor. Okay, so for this event, it is a little out of our norm. We are doing a beer garden for the Filipino Fiesta at this event. The event starts at 10, however, the beer garden is going to be in the afternoon, for 5 hours. As far as security, we are going to get barricades for the area. We're still working with the venue as far as those, because there are those 2 tents in that area. We just want to make sure that it's either going to be filled or it's going to be used for our business. Security also include one security inside roaming. Keep an eye on guests. We are risk banding at the bar as the guests would come into the garden area, and only 21 and over and risk banded guests are allowed in there.
This is the overall event will have around 10,000 residents.
Or 50. It should be 15. Can I handle it? One in the future we can.
So the question, inside the beer garden itself, is that, what number are you looking at to cap off your beer garden number?
Yeah, so we are gonna be controlling the flow. We're thinking, depending on how crowded it's gonna be in there, I would say like less than 50 people. Yeah, there are gonna be the bar tops that the venue is gonna be providing, but yeah, I would say no more than that.
And then obviously it looks like by the map layout, most of the food trucks or food areas are gonna be outside of your beer garden, so people are gonna be able to go out to grab food and come back, but they're not gonna be able to bring liquor out. Let's make sure we.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're gonna ban there, but let's make sure we got enough guys at the entrance and exit of your beer garden, please take it out.
Yeah.
Second, last thing I have is, I know it's at the Philcom Center, but obviously some of the parking for Philcom Center is gonna be used for the event. So we know that we have enough parking for guys that could overconsume in the beer garden, because obviously it's a great event, and people kind of be great for an event currently coming up now. We know we have parking for guys to leave their car there if they got it.
So as far as leaving their cars, street parking, they should be able to do that. However, the other 2 designated outside parking where Philcom will be providing shuttle service is at YLA Shopping Center and August Aaron's Elementary School. As far as leaving the vehicles, I don't think they're gonna be able to. So we can discuss items like that with the venue, how we can address that issue.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna be against, agreeing with this, promotion. Just wanna know that you guys can find out from them, right, what they're going to do. If giving cars or not, or if the event itself can work on getting some type of Uber or Lyft type of idea. Get more people to plan to drink on this.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know.
The first time you've done a beer garden?
Yeah, first time.
Move that we, through dash 01855.
Second,
The motion is second and the agenda reservation seems, and I also provide. Yes, 01855. Calling agenda item number 3, application number 23-0179, is catered by City Fund.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Sam Alero, General Manager for Foods and Catering by Sinublan. And with me is my event coordinator, Sheila Lafon.
You want this event, go back to graduation.
Yeah, so another typical event, graduation event. We have the bar located inside the ballroom this time. And about 100 people. Yes. Sir.
Bar was inside.
you may have someone or somehow we have gotten the footprint or plan. Area for the fire one, because you took the bar is in the courtyard. Layout. For specific one. So, I mean, for me, if you can provide an updated floor plan to the commission, I'm fine with that. You know, you guys have done pretty good with these things and getting back into, events now and graduations are being full swings. We're glad to see that. But again, high school, as we've said in the prior one. But we're gonna have
For sure.
a lot of people checking out.
They're gonna try.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, we can provide an updated for time. For sure.
Just to keep the record accurate.
Yes.
And will be approved application number 23-0187.
Second,
And a motion is second, presentation series, and I also vote aye, the motion carries, application number 23-01879 is approved. On agenda item number 4, application number 23-01880, for the hearing by single line.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Sam Alario, General Manager for Foods and Catering by Sinublan. And with me is my event coordinator, Sheila. Okay, so for this event, we are doing a first birthday event. The bar should be outside in the courtyard. And we have approximately 275 guests. I think for this one, it might be less.
That we approved application number 23-0180.
second,
The motion is second, and I also vote aye. Calling agenda item number 5, application number 23-01881, closing hearing by single line.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Sam Valero, General Manager for Food and Catering by Sinublan. And this is my event coordinator, Sheila. Okay, so for this event, we have another first birthday event. The bar should be located on the outside, especially because we're expecting 300 guests at this time.
The 23-0121.
Second.
Any motion in second? Zero one.
Have a weekend. Welcome to the Filipino theater. Basics.
Calling agenda item number 6, application for 23-0184 from Work Event Services LLC.
The Commissioner Devin Nicola, representing Services LLC. The first thing I wanted to mention is the Black Hawk event. The airport, actually it was canceled. So actually wanted to put that out.
That's calling agenda item number 7, application number 23-0145 from Park Event Services LLC.
Yes, very much, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Devin Nicola, representing Parking Services LLC. We are here for an East Meets West conference, the 18th and 19th. The event goes from 4 o'clock to 11 o'clock. It is a private party, 21 and over only. There will be a sense of volume, so we conference there with us. 130 people registered so far. With our guards checking IDs and responding as well. There will be overnight parking available. Guards are posted at the dorm area and make sure they use the. What's the
And this is not a question for you, the only question I do have is under Mr. Chair, under our licensing investigative report. This not item application number, it lists again as a specific license for a private event Black Health. His Pauhana, so I'm not sure if there's a typo in the actual report and it should be listed in the other one.
sorry,
I seen it twice and I was like, wait, I have two, and one's like a 1 day thing and the next one's like a 2 day thing.
My apologies.
Yeah, we just have that corrected on.
I have no other questions. Besides the ones already answered.
Application number 23-0145.
Motion second. Carry application number 23-01. Agenda item number 8, application for 23-0162 from the Roman Catholic Church.
Commissioners, my name is Frank Doyle, I'm the chairman of the East Honolulu Food Festival. It's our 15th annual festival at Mary Star Sea Church. It's an event that we usually have at least 1,500 people. I think this year we're going to be down quite a bit. We haven't had it for 3 years because of COVID. We serve beer, wine, and cocktails. All of the people entering the facility are wristbands that are on, that way entrance. We have 6 offices at the place, and as well as all our managers, 20. We're making sure everything's okay. The event usually has approximately 300 to 400 children. We don't know the exact number yet. Some tickets to church and then schools. Starts at 5:30 in the afternoon and closes at 30. Walking facilities at Hawaii High School, as well as at Honolulu, which is side of us. We will go out Parking Street next to this. And we shuttle people back. Over 15 years. One complaint. Honolulu, the sound, space in this area, we have had it since that point. For the troublesome complaints, the last
Oh, good afternoon, Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Rai Robert Wheel, on that, I have just on the concurrent item, number 19.
Yeah. If you're not clean.
No,
Thank you. So looking at the floor plan, you have two different slides here. So my question is really simple. The first floor plan, I'm assuming, is the area in which you'll be holding the 15th annual East Honolulu Food Festival. Second one though has that whole area in red. So are we talking about the whole area being licensed or just the area in the first slide, which has the food 15th annual East Honolulu Food Festival? You know what I mean? Because there's two different pictures. One shows where the festival will be in the middle of the school and next to Honolulu. Is that the area that's licensed or is
Yes.
the whole area licensed? You have another one with a bunch of red lines. So I just want to make sure.
I think maybe the other one was red lines was two different parcels.
Yeah, I mean, that does show two different areas.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that we know the license space will be only where that area is where the event itself will be taking place.
That's correct.
Okay. Then you had stated they're gonna ban people when they first come in.
Yes.
Okay. And then how many exits are you going to have within that license space to get out of the license?
We have primarily three major exits.
Okay.
One is for people go to the bathroom.
Okay.
And one is for the members.
Okay. So let's make sure that we have someone stationed there permanently to make sure people are not taking things in and out. I'm sure we've done it for you guys have done this the 15th time. But we haven't done these type of major events for the last couple of years.
Mhm.
So let's make sure people are not taking in or bringing in or taking out. Okay. And you're expecting about 1,600 people. You're currently selling tickets, correct?
We'd like to have 1,600.
Okay.
It looks like it's gonna be more like 1,300.
Okay. And this event is May 6th. Is there a way that the Friday, May 5th, you could let the commission know what the number is at that point, just so we have an idea?
Certainly.
Okay. Beyond that, I don't have any other questions. Thank you for your answer.
Application number 23-0186.
Second.
For related agenda item on the quarter, calling agenda item. For Robert.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Robert Rio on behalf of Honolulu. We have an existing special liquor license that includes a portion of this event. The talk about my attention, so of course we are reducing our area to allow the event and to not have two licenses for the same area. And the floor plan for our special liquor license that we asked.
Move that we approve request number 23-0195.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 9, application number 23-01933-1 through 23-01933-19.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members, and who are great for the applicant to my right, Jean Suzuki, JEANSUZUKI. She's the officer of the applicant who has been operating under special license first, now currently a temporary license will soon expire. They have applied for a regular license, still being processed. So hence we will need time with our temporary expired limits. We've been there for a long time and no problems. I want to ask you,
for the answer.
Number 23-01. One.
Second,
The motion is second. And I also. Agree that zero one, two, three, that zero one. Thank you. Agenda item number 10, application 23-01942 from Warren Crowell.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Adam Miller representing the applicant and as LLC, being named as Taylor was on this agenda. This is for 3 separate wedding events at Willow Ranch. Each one is fully catered in terms of food and they'll get full service for it. Yes, my apologies. The first is for the evening of May 9th.
Same, they're all.
So when it comes to checking IDs, I believe this one does say that there's going to be minors in attendance. We're going to be checking IDs at the bar. We're going to checking IDs in the time when you visit in first coming.
We'll be checking IDs at the bar, but all of the minors that will be present will be children ages 6 or 12.
So I'm assuming that the entrance to the area is those 2 doors or 2 doorway type things that are at the top end of the schematic.
That is correct.
So outside of that area, is that just open space?
It is an open space, but there's 2 gates that you need to access Cool Ranch, one being off the main gate. Right, and then if you drive further past the market, there's another gate that regulates traffic as well.
So, because you're gonna be licensing that outside space, you're gonna be allowing people to take drinks outside the doorway or outside the entrance?
So it's all within the area designated. For the
So
seating
the
areas. Yeah, I mean, it's a recently renovated as a turf. So, grass.
The other question I'm going to have is, so is Kualoa, if someone at this party happens to over consume, are they gonna be able to leave their vehicle there?
I believe so, but for the most part, to my knowledge, everyone's being transported by shuttle.
Okay. Okay, that's all the questions I have.
And then we'll go through the application number 23-0142.
Second.
Commissioners, Adam Miller representing the applicant, members of LLC, along with Taylor Bussian as general manager. This is another wedding event, 100 guests in May 14th.
Application number 23-01943.
Second.
Motion second, any objection? Item number 12, application 23-01944.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, Adam Miller on behalf of the applicant, members of LLC, and general manager Taylor Bussian. This is a private catered wedding event on May the 5th. This will have 5 minors. 99.
Yes, and what we should say.
Application number 23-01941.
Second.
Then a motion and second. Station creates an amount of 5. Calling agenda item number 13, application number 2. 2-2490 from AF Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Neil Gota, appearing on behalf of AFA for DW LLC. Appearing with me is Frank Clark, manager of the applicant. We have no changes to this. Provided a supplement letter in response to the event. Correct. That would be for the restaurant application, which is, I believe that. So on the agenda. The motion is seconded with the presentation experience, and then I also provide series. For 922. I don't know, 14 on page number 52. 4923 from A at page 1. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Neil Gota, appearing on behalf of EFA for LLC. Appearing with me is Mr. Frank Clark, manager of applicant. Other than the response we provided dated April 24th to the investigative report, we have no other changes to this report. I'll just summarize some of the letter. It sounds like from the letter, the applicant would similar to what was going. Right.
I would have is slightly stated in the letter here that prior prior things that have the license, they have this type of license. You know, they were in and the restaurant category.
What was told how to recommend we had no.
Then I guess we look find out if we have any. So currently right now, I don't have separate licenses right in that center there.
There's one premise that retains separate license. Control over all the other spaces except that one's premise.
What else?
Two dash 249.
Second.
Item number 50, application number 2-4755.
Mr. Chair, with respect to this matter, I have an admission to make that the responsibility when the continued date was set, the administration was supposed to take a number of actions with respect to the personal representative, and I'll be honest with you, I forgot. We have actually prepared and filed an order to show cause with respect to the underlying permanent license that was served on the personal representative. He will make an appearance next week. My understanding is that her interest in the permanent license and the business being conducted on the premises is none. So she'll make an appearance next week. Action will be taken on the permanent license. Then Mr. Attorney Luke and his client will be free to proceed pursuing, I guess, a standalone camp and then you for the same premises. We just forgot to do it this week, but he'll be here next.
Yeah, no objections.
So it is. One more. Thank you. So agenda item number 15 is to. Agenda item number 16, request number 22-2479 from Ilya Kaiman, LLC.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairperson, members of the commission. Shinpei Oki appearing on behalf of the licensed Victoria Kailani LLC. We have one comment or one change with regards to the investigative report. We did submit a separate letter to the commission with regards to the effective date of the change. The effective date was May 23rd, 2022, instead of May 28th. Noted in the report. No other changes.
Approve request number 22-2.
Second.
The motion is second. Verification, please. I, motion carried, request number 22-3479.
Thank you very much.
Calling agenda item number 17, request number 23-01079 from NL Ryan.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Kevin Howard, General Manager at O'Brien. Yeah, that's United. Applying for an extension.
The extension.
So basically, after having gone through COVID, we saw a lot of other businesses that expanded outdoor areas where it's a safer, quieter place and fresh air and that sort of thing. And we thought that this was a parking area that we weren't really letting the market. Thought it would be better use purpose for quiet, safe, fresh air, outdoor area for our business. Yeah, we applied to the planning department, planning and permitting, and they didn't have.
Is the area that's kind of used in the back, what parking, how do you plan to close off, I guess, the driveway that would drive into that parking?
We already have two gates in place.
Or do you plan to have someone dedicated outside there and sure people don't go through the gates or whatever they need with items?
I'll call it. It fills the entire space. Okay.
All right.
Picture of the lot.
The other thing I had a question is this, there's a set of stairways, right, that lead from the top or down, right? Is that an emergency exit or is that an exit for people to get out?
It's an emergency.
We approve request number 23-0107.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You asked, like, is it like as of right now? Can we start using the space today?
Is,
Final.
a final inspection will be, I mean, you just need to schedule a final inspection with the licensing section.
Okay. I'm sorry, I haven't done it before, so I just got all the commission again and asked for a licensing.
Yeah, whoever did the, your investigative report will probably identify, contact that person and schedule a final inspection. At that indication. That was the main marker.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
We have 0189.
With respect to agenda item 18, I can report to the commission that we received the subject license, Outback Steakhouse license, and the license was canceled on April 25th. No action required by the commission.
Right, so no action will be taken on agenda item. And I have to do it back on the floor and not.
Okay, but. For example,
Motion for second and then I also put aye, the motion carried. Order to adopt the version item. We will take a brief recess before we move into fire extinguishing. Consent.
Yes.
Very little, but a little. Okay.
Yeah. Not knowing.
So it's one part, this is the one that was supposed to go to. That was supposed to, yeah, but they decided. And they had already entered the one charge. They were just good. Oh, no, that's, Ross. Oh, I think the more than one. And so. Yeah. They're all in. Oh, really? Yeah, the one in white, the one that walked the one in Bobby. Rock. No, Sunday. Yvonne. But no shame. Light green. Yeah. I'm assuming that's a favor. Okay, cool for him.
Microphone's cutting in and out. Sorry.
Wanted something else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that might be. Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the main thing.
No. Hey, there you go. Lighter.
Yes.
Really? It's a case. Because the ones you guys sent, second week of May is last year. Last, yeah. Because I think, it's what secret second week of May and then. I looked at it in last week. Yeah, I believe so. I got it right here. We're running really low. I mean, we're not getting really a violation. Yeah, because you don't have.
Where you are.
So yeah, we
And yes.
secret on May. They're also, they have a second one that's really. Well, Bertie told me that investigated it. What? Oh, yeah. Okay. And then we haven't put on the calendar yet. We have one pending. Right, because we got to reset that. Right. But they wanted to know. Planes. Oh, I see. Yeah.
We are back on the record. Thank you for allowing the adequate recess. I will be going to work for 2 times.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thomas Knapsaker, Deputy Corporation Counsel, on behalf of the City and County of Honolulu.
On agenda item number 27, LCB 23-0040. I brought that thing.
Good afternoon, dear members of the LIQ for the license fee. We waived reading the charge and our fee of no contest.
You could accept it.
Got a motion to second and executive regulation. Provide the motion.
And ask your recommendations to.
This violation occurred on February 1st, 2023, when licensee employee Judith Santiago without said employee being properly registered. This is licensee's first violation. The recommended fine is $350.
So, yeah, Judith Santiago had worked as club best friend before for this legislation. At that time, she was registered, she had her card, and at this time, she still had her card. The problem, the violation is that she wasn't registered. So she had left club best friend, she was working as a hairdresser, decided she wasn't making enough money, and she went back. The owner said she thought he had put her on the employee list and reminded him of his place not only once a year, once upon a time, it used to be twice a year. But apparently, in checking the commission records, he inadvertently did not put her on. So after he got the violation, immediately went down the next stage.
She originally was on the list, then came back, not on the list, but she did have a card at the time, right, her card.
And she had a card now, but the problem was she wasn't on the list.
Registered for you
Right,
guys.
correct.
For that.
For it to anybody, apparently.
Apparently everybody's up to date here, yeah.
Yep, everybody's up to date. This is, you know, as far as in the white Pablo, this is a client that's actually been pretty with following the rules. So when they got the citation, they call and kind of freak out a little and go through that. So, and I think they really do try to make sure they come.
Mr. Announcing since seven, actually, you said this was a first time violation.
Yes, for this particular violation. That's correct.
Is going to be to do a letter of reprimand.
Second.
The motion to second and executive regulation.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 28, LCB 23-0041.
Commissioners, I represented, I had a conversation with Attorney Lincoln Shida earlier this week. They didn't get the report in time to review it for tonight's hearing, so they requested a continuance to the May 25th hearing. We have no objection.
Item number 29, LCB 0015, and that's Lawrence County.
Commissioners, I will represent that after this item was put on the agenda, we received a stipend waiver from the licensee, which was signed on April 24th, 2023. So no further action.
Further action. And item number 30, LCB 23-0016, fourth by Hunt.
Afternoon, to our right is the manager. His name is Don Lee. VAN space DAN space LE. Let the record reflect when you as counsel. We waive reading of the charges. Won't you approve or more comment?
So now your recommendation.
This violation occurred on April 30th, 2022, when licensee acquired liquor from an entity other than a licensed wholesaler. This is licensee's first violation. The recommended fine is $500.
No, I've explained to Mr. Lee here that we cannot buy from anybody but a wholesaler. And just for a record, you know, he's been in business for. He's done pretty well. Not even on.
So I guess my question would be to Mr. Did something somebody specifically needed or wanted that you couldn't have or you didn't have on hand?
I answer them. This customer was a customer, I guess, a regular customer, wanted certain items, but when you go to the wholesaler, buy a minimal, 10 cases or something. He understands that he can't do that.
Okay. So my motion is going to be to approve the fine of $250 for agenda item number 3.
Second. There's a motion and second. Any discussion? Aye, motion carries. The fine of $250. Thank you. Calling agenda item number 31, LCB 23-0037. Will Garden again.
Again, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, PC licensee. We waive read and charge and earn fee of money.
There's a motion and second. Any objection to the provision of seeing none, I also vote aye.
Violation occurred on January 24, 2022, when licensing entered into a management or operating agreement without first notifying. This is licensee's first violation. The recommended fine is $500.
Yeah, this is a situation where there was a services agreement. The services agreement was submitted to the commission in February. I believe this is correct, February. In early February, February 9th. When we drafted the agreement, because I drafted the agreement, it started on January 1st. Problem was we had a hard time getting the manager to sign. We didn't get the manager's signature until like early February, but we did not backdate it because the manager was physically on site. So I think the intent of these is to make sure the commission knows who's operating. Which is kind of what our thinking is of, could have easily backdated the document, decided not to do it, because that wasn't.
The January 24th, based on the thing, Mr. National, someone they came in and they had found that someone was there and registered.
But
I mean, if anyone knows,
what happened is the reason they flagged it is because when the services agreement came into the commission, it was supposed to start January 1. Yeah,
okay.
So what happened is they went in on March 10th, which is after the services agreement was received and the services agreement was approved. But you can't approve something that's illegally not for coming back to January 1. So that's what they got the citation.
Motion is going to be to approve a recommended fine of $200 for agenda item. Second.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Hideyuki Sakurai, Hideyuki Sakurai. I'm the manager of Sky Waikiki LLC. And the gentleman right next to me, Richard Wells, he's the general manager of the establishment. Wells, W-E-L-L-S.
On or about March 17, 2023, in the city of County of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensing allowed the obstruction, hampering, or interfering with investigators or liquor commission operations in any way, including but not limited to the sounding of alarms, flashing of lights, or use of a public address system or other advanced warning or announcing the arrival of commission investigators in violation of Rule 3-84-79.1 of the Rules of the Liquor Commission of the City and County of Honolulu.
All right, I'm going to ask Mr. Sakai.
Sakurai.
Sakurai, sorry, sir. How would you like to plead? the charge, deny the charge?
Oh, I was on site, I wasn't on the premise, so he would like to explain.
Okay, so you'll have a right to explain, but we first need to
Oh,
either accept the charge, deny the charge, or
No,
plead no
okay.
contest. Okay, so motion to accept the plea.
Second. The motion is second. I carry.
You're not saying, what is your recommendation?
This is the first violation. The recommended fine is $1,000.
Well, as you were there, so go ahead and explain, please.
Sure, so this particular employee, we have on his file, in his employee file, he had a card, he was registered with the Liquor Commission. Apparently, on this particular day, he did not have it with him. Had a variety of excuses for that. When the Liquor Commission showed up, he left the bar premises. I thought initially he was going to his bag in the locker room, grab his card. He didn't show up. We called him, he refused to come back. Due to this incident, he did terminate his employee after job abandonment, essentially. Even though he did have his card, he didn't have it on it, registered. So now, going forward, what we're doing now physically, not just assuming because we had a card present, now we're physically showing your visual inspection for everybody.
So I'm just I guess I'm gonna ask a question, I'm a little bit confused, only because the date on the violation as well as what the violation says, the violation is stated that either it hampered or obstructed or interfered with an investigation of Liquor Commission operations. So did he try to stop the guy from checking with him? I mean, because I mean, obviously this now sounds like basically you had somebody working that didn't have a card on them, which is a different violation than hampering.
Right.
Sure, I can add to that. So when the investigators arrived, they went up to the rooftop bar and observed customers purchasing drinks from behind the bar. They asked the male employee for the registration card. The employee said that he was going to grab his registration card from the back. And he went back into the doorway and did not come back. Investigator Nishigata spoke to the manager on duty, Mr. Wells, who said that the employee lived close by and probably went home to grab his card. While waiting for the employee to show up, Wells made a phone call to ask Rodriguez to come to the indoor bar area. After the phone call, Wells informed the investigator that Rodriguez was in the bathroom. He was not able to verify his identity.
That is what happened. So he thought he left. Then I called him. He didn't answer initially. I called him again. I finally got him on the phone. He said that, hey, first, I think I might even have a text message of him texting me that he's in the bathroom. Then he had a variety of stories. But I did this all in front of the officers up there that night.
I'm kind of wondering why this rule was a violation rather than some other one.
I believe it was cited this way for two reasons. One, because the employee diverted the commission away from the investigation by lying and saying that he was going to get his card. The second issue being that Wells indicated that Rodriguez was in the bathroom. He was not. So this.
I didn't know. It's a big bar, it's a big space, multiple levels. If he tells me he's in the bathroom, initially I assumed that that's what that was the situation. I thought what he was that he got nervous, something, and he had to, I didn't want to too personal with him about why he had to run back. And I was just honest with what they told me.
Right, no, I mean, obviously. Because obviously, I mean, I don't think anyone here particularly is saying you're not working with this with the officers. I think what we're looking at, right, is this individual didn't have his card. He made a presumption to someone that he was going to go get a card, which he was not. But if he didn't have it, he wasn't going to do that. then they did contact you, as the next person in charge, which would have a card, right? In charge of the liquor license, which he then subsequently lied to you, which is somewhat then you told them, being honest, that's also like not being where he really was. Okay, so I guess my question will be this: everybody now currently has a liquor card, carries it with them or has it with them when they're working. Correct? And you put it in place so you won't have this type of situation that's happened again. Okay. I am going to say I'm going to make a motion for a fine, but I'm going to work with you folks because I think you're gonna try to do better. A unique situation, in my opinion. So I'm going to make a motion to recommend a fine of $500 for agenda item number 32.
Second. Then a motion. Second. Item number 33, LC -015 others. Anyone making an appearance for other stuff? While they're doing that, is this?
Yeah. It's that, Jasmine Teal.
Yeah.
Who was here last week. But I'm not sure why she failed to appear this week. Although there's been a fusion from the get-go, which is the two, violations with the parent for.
I would be inclined to continue this matter, keeping. I'll ask the prosecutor.
We have no objections to that. We understand that there was a scheduling issue last week.
We just can. So we have the opportunity to talk and confirm.
I think that the person that has the right
Yes.
to be here to
Also, I need to
keep the matter.
Okay, so agenda item number.
Sorry, just to interject, Mr. Lai, will you be working with the licensee for scheduling or by us?
If you can make the initial call, that would be great. If you run into some difficulties, I think we can try to help if you have trouble finding someone to talk with.
Understood. Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 34, LC 23-00. I'm here for agenda item number 2. So next thing I know, they've been in contact.
I have not.
The record, Mr. Passing, right?
Original service was served on the manager Andrew Campbell on March 11th, 2023. We received an email that Friday requesting a continuance from the March 23rd hearing. I spoke with licensee Danny Kai-Ialini, and we had agreed to continue it to tonight's hearing. I have not had any further contact with him since then. We would request default.
Second. Motion the second.
What is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on January 28, 2023, when licensee permitted liquor to be open and readily available after hours at 2:16 a.m. This is licensing first violation. The recommended fine is $660, which is based on a $500 base fine and a $160 surcharge.
Just repeat the
The total is $660.
I want it known that normally on my end, we want, would have this kind of violation to be here, but it seems as if we tried to go into a few times already. Doesn't seem like they are. So I'm not sure if it's worthwhile us putting it off for the penalty fees to try to see if someone's gonna come or not.
First was.
Try to have them come again. Okay, so my motion is going to be to hold off on issuing a penalty fees and ask them to recome in front of the commission, because we believe we have some questions in regards to why, they're allowing the credit to continue on the still open after hours.
That is correct. We'll just indicate that in the letter that the reason for the scheduled date is spoken.
So agenda item number 34 will be continued as the council days. Agenda item number 35, LCD 3-0004.
Again, good afternoon. Chair members, Commission, licensee, waive reading as to both charges 1 and 2, enter no contest plea to charges 1 and 2.
The motion second introduction. Hearing no conflict with,
Part one, the violation occurred on January 10, 2023, when licensee employed Alyssa Yamada Barreto without said employee being properly registered with the commission. This is a first violation. The recommended fine is $350. For charge 2, this violation occurred on January 10, 2023, when licensee failed to have a registered manager in part of the premises. This is also a first violation. The recommended fine is $500.
Yes, so this is a restaurant, a small restaurant in the hotel that's literally in the corner of Brewers and Colorado. And Mr. Agresti, Salvatore Agresti, is the owner, but he employs a manager, but they usually shut down at about 9 o'clock. So the investigators were there about 9:22. And his manager leaves when they shut down. So the only people left were, actually, there were 2 employees that were left there cleaning up. Mr. Agresti had let his card expire because he usually has the manager there with the card. So after this incident, we went to the commission the next day and basically, I told him, we tell all of our clients, you should have more than 1 blue card holder on the floor for various different reasons. The employee, who was an employee that had just started, he had not had her registered yet. He registered her. Sure. They're in a lobby, open lobby area, so it's hard to tell whether they're closed, but that's why the manager had left, because they used, I asked him when his last call was, he said between 9 and 9:50. So he said, when the manager leaves, when they stop serving, so there were no customers there, but it's impossible to tell whether they're closed because they're in an open lobby.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First, Mr. Nassar, does the charge show what time you got or were at the license?
It looks like the investigators arrived at 9:22, as Mr. Keach stated. However, I will note that the investigative report says that the doors to the establishment were open and customers were inside.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I guess the other question I would have for you is, so when the manager left at 9, right? Was the owner there? And that's why he said he found out his card is it had expired and he needs to go get a new one.
Yes.
So. Okay. So I mean, obviously we have it now fixed. Everybody's registered, everybody's there. It needs to cost them something because I'm being
No, I
in a space that nobody's there. the girl, I mean, I understand maybe she just started, but obviously you want them registered as soon as you can to get them, so no one.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say, this is, I was kind of surprised when I got this, because this is I think I got this license like 3 years ago, and this is not a license fee that. Now, let me put it this way, I know which one of my clients are problems. I do, I really do.
This is not one.
This is not one of them.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, it's, so I'll leave it at that. He should, you know, he should not have had his card lapsed. Yes, she should have registered immediately, but
So are you ever gonna tell us this is one of your problems?
So, no, so garden Yaki, the owner of that also owns FAMU, so you can probably understand.
Why did the food so good?
But the one thing she does is, she does listen once in a while.
So, I mean, I understand, I mean, I mean, I guess it's, you gotta make sure this card.
Right, he's got, I mean,
He's better now.
I mean, if it's costing something, it costs him something. I mean, I understand that, I mean,
I just,
it's, yeah.
I got it there. So my motion is going to be for chart number 1, to approve the recommended fine of $350. And to approve the recommended fine of $500.
Yeah. With the motion, the second, and the third. $500.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 36, LCD 20.0044, Rob 5.
Nelson Show. Part owner. Was Miss Melcher representing you? Yeah. Is she here? I'm sure we can hear this.
He's represented by an attorney, Robin Melcher, but speaking throughout last week and this week. My understanding is she would be present tonight.
Otherwise,
Not since she had emailed me earlier in the week indicating that they were going to enter. So we didn't exchange exhibits or anything. And that was my last conversation with her.
yeah, that's not typical. So I would perhaps. Caller would like
That's good. You can see that.
yeah, that would
Objections.
give me attention.
No.
Yeah, access right at the end. So agenda item number 36. Is there any
We'll continue to the next available. I'll reach out to the Melcher next week and we'll try and arrange a date if she's available.
so we'll look at the agenda. Here.
They do it again. My name is Ken. I've been with the agent in base, EA, 80, and I have not,
I'm going to the commission, they're going to executive session. For the following reasons, we would say the hiring evaluation of an officer and employee. Where consideration of the matters affecting privacy being involved, I want to turn it to the executive session for the purposes. Second.
Motion second and executive. Things have done my own. I have. Carries, we are now in sync.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think, okay. I mean, if you were in touch with her earlier. Yeah, I'm still up with this. I mean, I didn't realize that Jasmine Teal is Lee Teal's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was just like, who are you? And, you know, who are you? You're not like, I was like, no, she should have said that. Sure, you know. Here.
Wait, are you? You think they're difficult?
Well, I think that they're, they remember. There's the. Transfer and the locked door thing, right? And they kept on getting the two mixed up.
Oh,
You know, like they would come and.
like the board riders kind of.
What happened?
you did it, right?
This is mute all. I have mute all. Sure, look.
Auditor and I are looking at the IT systems and to the extent that we have those measures in place, automated fashion. Again, that'll be fine.
Know how about the information. There.
April 2015. And investigator one is from 1999. All right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would just echo the same comments. If we want to work in the way of using. Obviously speed things up in areas, whether that's more resources, whether that's more IT stuff in regards to license, because obviously we come across some people who are continuing to get temporaries, right? Because they're not at a certain point. I want to find out how we can best help that area get through those situations, right?
One of the process. Or we have to look at them to see what are they. If you can take some measures to reduce the load. Ultimately being the time rate and the work gets. One electric, one of their main things is to energy forecasting. All the times the public's view is how many things can be built with new technology. What most people don't understand is to reduce the demand. Requires assets to meet the energy in a similar fashion. What occupies their work? What is it? Is it permits? Is it licenses? Is it whatever it is? Work the scale, landscape of it, and which ones you don't really have. As I quote on this subject, back in 2015. But I looked at the application of Smith's Union Bar. It's a very old bar. Was one of the very first ones to get their license. I came to applications form, and it all for 2 pages of legal size people. That's it. Of course, they did have the floor plan, but he didn't have a long narrative of the history of the ways and all these other things. You know, perhaps some of them have become necessary since then. But that, to me, that gives you some reference of the importance of shortening the process. Many things that they did not ignore back then was business of the applicant and public input. That's all.
Thank you. What we're trying to do is this matter as a lot of testimony that's sent down to the position that also feel it's important to be able to those bonds if you wish and opportunity. Sounds like you want to do something.
I'll prepare something responsive, send it to this for that.
Okay,
1 week. That's fine.
As it's a public hearing. That's some bits and will be the did. Then that, and that's too long. That's required. Having said that, we do want to. And so we will not continue this indefinitely necessity. That's what we did. And item number 37.
And should I also include a specific executive session related to
We move it to early in the agenda.
because it's characterized as other business, the preference is to just take it out of order, but leave it down, rather than one item of other business.
Calling agenda item number 38, but your administrative legislative update.
No, no.
This
session, I tried.
You're done with this session.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a complete fail, but the one thing that we wanted the most, the biggest disappointment.
Calling agenda item number 39, the administrator administrative matters.
Nothing